There are lots of videos online that will show you how to do metric conversions by multiplying with fractions, and you're certainly welcome to do it that way. If you've learned it that way in another class, it might be easiest for you to just keep on doing it. But if you're not familiar with how to do it, I find it a bit easier to make my conversions by just moving the decimal around. Okay. And to figure out how to move the decimal around, you need to look at your units. There are two parts to a metric unit. One of them tells what type of thing you're measuring. Liters measures volume, grams measures weight, meters measures distance. The other part of it tells you the units that you're looking at. So an M, if I look over here in my table, means milli, and that's 10 to the minus 3. This kind of funny looking M is the Greek letter M, that is micro, and it's 10 to the minus 6. So if I look at that, minus 6 is less because it's negative than negative 3. And I always move my decimal in the direction of the smaller number. The distance between 3 and 6 is 3. 6 minus 3 is 3. So I need to move my decimal 3 spaces over 1, 2, and 3. When I move it over past the end, I need to add some zeros. So the answer for this one would be 12,500 microliters. Let's look at another example. Suppose I'm being asked to convert 12.5 millimeters into centimeters. Milli is the same as before. It's going to be 10 to the minus 3. Centi, if I look it up in the table, is 10 to the minus 2. I then need to move my decimal towards the smaller number. And the distance between 3 and 2 is 1, so I would just move my decimal 1 place over. In this case, I find that 12.5 millimeters, when I move the decimal 1 place towards the left, is equal to 1.25 centimeters. In this problem, you're asked to convert 0.02 liters into milliliters. If there's just one letter there, that means that there's no prefix. If you're measuring distance, it might just be an M there. An M by itself does not mean milli. It only means milli if it's in front of another. So you always have the units, and then you may have a prefix to tell you the amount of that unit. So since there's no prefix, it's 10 to the 0. Milli we've already seen is 10 to the minus 3. Minus 3 is less than 0, so I'm going to move 3 spaces towards the smaller number, 1, 2, and then I'm going to need to add a 0 to take its place. So I get that 0.02 liters is equal to 20 milliliters. Okay, suppose we want to convert 2,300 nanograms to centigrams. Again, if we look at our table, nanogram is 10 to the minus 9. Centigram, we've seen before, 10 to the minus 2. Negative 9 is smaller than negative 2, so I'm going to move my decimal to the left. 9 minus 2 is 7, so it needs to move 7 spaces. 1, 2. We always assume, if we don't see the decimal, that it's at the end of the number. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I've got 3 more, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to have to add 3 zeros onto the beginning. I do not need to keep the zeros at the end. Those are just placeholders to show where the decimal is. So by moving my decimal 7 spaces over, get 0.00023 centigrams. You can also do conversions involving some of these large numbers. Those are less important for us in biology, so you should memorize just these smaller numbers. You should know what no prefix means, that centa is 10 to the minus 2, and so on.